there's one thing that a gaming channel needs, it's a video in the kitchen. So today I'm gonna be making Granny's biscuits. We've got the recipe right here. I'll like put it up on the screen right here so you guys can know if you ever want to like follow along and make this with me. This is some really good biscuits, probably the best biscuits you're ever gonna make. So step one, I'm probably gonna be way too slow for this to like actually be important, but we are going to set the oven. And I know I can't turn my camera, so just imagine me over here preheating my oven to 450 degrees. 450, you don't want to have to do that later because it's going to take forever and it's going to be a pain. Next up. So here's what the instructions say. We've got to mix in the dry ingredients and then cut in shortening with a fork. So first of all, we've got 2 cups of sifted flour. Now if you don't have sifted flour, you can just use regular flour. It's not going to be the same consistency, but it'll still taste pretty good. So this is a sifter. I don't know if this is like a common household thing, but you put your flour in there and then you go like this and it sifts it all nice and yeah, it's just sifted. So let me start by sifting 2 cups of flour. The reason I'm making this right now is because I just bought a new game on the Nintendo Switch and I need money to pay for it. So I'm gonna go donate plasma tomorrow morning. And I'm really picky about what I can eat in the morning. So we're going to have this for dinner. And then I know that it will sound good when I need to eat before I go and donate plasma tomorrow. And then donating plasma will let me pay for that game. So, that's why we're making biscuits and gravy. Even if I wasn't doing that, we're going to eat it eventually just because it's good. You can wash this out. I don't really do that. But it might be a good thing. After we get the flour sifted, next up we have 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Do not get it confused with baking soda, or else you are going to be in for a very sad evening. In other news, while I'm kind of making this, I don't know if I can really tell stories like I usually do in my daily uploads because I need to be focused on making the biscuits, and I'm not like the best cook. Baker? Yeah, I guess we're baking, not cooking. Next up, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Okay, see, 1/4 teaspoon, that's like a 1/12 of a tablespoon. I think it's a 1/12. That's not what I want. Baking soda. I also didn't ever realize you don't really ever use a lot of baking soda. This is 4 pounds of baking soda. This is probably going to last me till the rest of my life, let's be honest. Unless I start getting really into baking. This is so much. So much. Okay, 1/4 teaspoon. And yes, I have to double check myself every single time. Today at work was pretty nice. So I go into class this morning. And usually class is an hour and a half, but the teacher was gone. Just the TA was teaching. And so 1 teaspoon of salt. And so all we had to do was 1 calibration. So we kind of set up the machine. We were testing for metal fumes. Metal fumes. I had to make sure it wasn't vapors, but vapors are liquids. Please be 1 teaspoon of salt. It is 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay, so that's all of our dry ingredients. Supposedly, I'm supposed to mix this up. I don't really know if it matters if I mix this up because it's just the dry stuff right now. Anyway, so I was only there for half an hour, so I got an extra hour of work in today. I need to be halfway quick about this though because I still need to go to my TA meeting for my other job. After that, we are going to put in, I think it's 3 tablespoons of Crisco. So we got the Crisco. If you want it to taste like super good, first of all, I don't know if it has to be name brand or if there's even such thing as off-brand Crisco. You want to get the butter flavored. I don't know if this is butter flavored. I didn't tell Christina to get butter flavored. I just said get Crisco. So we'll see. It's not going to change the flavor too much, but it could change it a little bit. So hopefully it's still good in the end. Maybe Finn will come in here and help me at some point. He's just laying on the bed in there. So then I get into work today. Oh boy, I hate how I have to line this up on the side. Also, wearing a suit for this is definitely, I'm not going to eat that, that's gross. It's definitely not the way to do it, but wait. 1/4 a cup is 4 tablespoons I need 3 tablespoons, so about right there. We're gonna chop it. This part doesn't really need to be exact. It's just a rough estimate. There's gonna be more Crisco in it anyways. And then it says that we're supposed to cut it in. I don't really know what that means. I think it means you just kind of like press it into it or something. Here's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I know how to bake. I know how to cook. It's gonna taste really good in the end. But I've probably only made this for myself like 5 or 6 times in my life. If I cooked more often, then maybe I would get more used to it and I'd remember cooking lingo and stuff like that. I just don't very often. Okay, so after that's done, which it's looking pretty good, let's see what it says next. Add buttermilk. So we're gonna put in 1 cup of buttermilk. We got the Meadow Gold buttermilk. Once again, it doesn't matter which type of buttermilk you get. It's gonna be delicious either way. And I'm gonna get super messy here. That is one problem with this. I don't know if I've shared this in one of my. Oh, this kind of looks like it needs mixed up. Just a sec. We're gonna shake this up a little bit, just because that looks like straight water on top. I don't know if it changed anything. It just looks a lot more liquidy or like watery than I was expecting it to. Okay, 1 cup. It's low fat cultured buttermilk. I wonder if that makes a difference. I don't know what I usually put in it. So after we get the buttermilk in there, we're gonna mix until there's no dry ingredients left in the bottom. So this is the part where it gets super messy. Anka messy, anka messy. Let me halfway clean up here. Basically what you want to do here, I'm just going to be mixing it with my hands, which I know is like messy. I don't know what else to call it. But it's just the easiest way. And before I do that, one thing you can do to make it a little bit better is if you just put flour on your hands. And like I said, doing this in a suit is not the way to do this. But I need to take this suit to the dry cleaner anyways, so I don't really care if it gets a little messy. Okay, so we're gonna put some flour on the counter. Can you guys see that? If I move this bowl, you can see I just have flour spread on the counter. Eventually, we're gonna have it on there. We're gonna be mixing everything. Let's actually start with a fork to originally mix this. We're gonna have to start using my hands pretty quick here, though, I think. The reason that you don't want to overmix it is because it changes the consistency. It's just not as good if you overmix it. I don't really know how to explain it. It's super temperamental in how it ends up setting up. Oh, and yeah, that is very, very sticky. In other news, let me think. So we went out to the animal place today while we were at work. They've got a new sheep there. So we'll have to kind of see if he's friendly or not. They had a sheep there last year. They probably ended up killing him and eating him, unfortunately. But if he seems to be nice, then we're definitely going to probably pet him every time we go there, which is kind of exciting. And where else do we go? We went and we dropped off some batteries at the dump. And then we went to the married housing. They're looking good there. We now have access to their custodial closet. We didn't used to. Okay, and there's like a tiny, tiny bit of dry ingredients still in this bowl. Let me see if I can show you guys that. So it's like that, and yeah, my hands are just absolutely coated in this stuff. But once you kind of get a lump looking something like that, then we've got to start rolling these into biscuits. So let me read the instructions. Dump dough onto floured surface. Sweet. So we're going to dump this onto the surface. And the flour is just there to kind of help form the biscuits, I guess. And here's actually the important part that I need to do next. I should have done this before, but I didn't want it to be, so we have to put Crisco in the pan because it's going to have melted Crisco on the bottom. I just didn't want it to start like boiling in there or get too warm. So give me a second to try and get all of this, or as much of this as I can, off of my fingers. Then I'll wash my hands. We'll get the Crisco going in the oven, and then we'll form the biscuits. And then we went and picked up e-waste, which was luckily the best e-waste we've had to pick up in a while. So a few weeks ago we had to pick up a really, really heavy paper shredder. Again, I don't know how much it weighed. I'm guessing around 100 pounds. The only thing I can relate it to, we had to pick up some 120-pound servers. It was definitely lighter than that. So I don't think it could have been more than 100 pounds. Had to have been over 75 though. So I don't know if it's really that heavy. As you guys can see, I'm not the strongest though. Okay, right, Crisco. So we're gonna get, this time we're gonna get roughly 2 tablespoons. It doesn't really matter if we're being exact. We put this into the pan. We're just using a 9x13. I guess I should have maybe started the video out with that. I'll put that in the caption. Perfect timing. Did you guys hear that beeping? The oven just preheated, which means we're doing excellent on our timing. Okay, so we let that melt. Then I can start forming these biscuits. I honestly don't know how many this is gonna make. I might end up doing a second batch of this once I'm done with the original batch, just because I want to be able to eat this for several days. There's not really like a specific size of biscuit that you're going for. You just have to think about like how big of a biscuit you want. So I'm trying to make this maybe, you guys don't know how big my hands are, so this doesn't really help. But there's the biscuit in comparison to my hand. So you can see area of my hand on all sides of the biscuit. That's what I'm going to go for. If you go too small, I don't think there's like much of a problem. If you make them too big, then they might not cook through all the way. And then you'd be eating dough. There's worse things you can eat. It's not like that's going to kill you. It just won't be as appetizing. And the last thing I need is for this meal to become unappetizing, because I would put this in my probably my top 3 favorite meals. I love biscuits and gravy. At least when they're these biscuits and homemade gravy. I'm not going to be making the gravy in this video, I don't think. I don't know, maybe this is going to be a long video if I do gravy. Maybe we'll tack it on at the end. It's super easy to make the gravy. And I know that I'm not making these biscuits as good as I should be. I definitely need to make more of them. But that is essentially how you do it. So I think we're going to do a jump cut. I don't want to edit this too much, but I'm going to have to edit it a little bit as it is. So let's go ahead and do a jump cut, and I'll show you how to actually like form them and put them into the pan now. The Crisco is in the oven still melting, so I'm just going to show you how I actually do these biscuits up close. You just rip some off, and then you can see like it's not really like formed all together super well. You just want to press it together enough to keep its shape, but you do not want to overwork. Oh no, my tie just went in the flour. You don't understand, guys. Like, look at my pants. I know this is a cooking video, not a pants video. I've been doing so good not to get any flour on me yet. It's actually insane how clean I am for how messy this is. But yeah, you rip off the size that you think is about enough of what you want. You form enough. It doesn't have to look like super great on the bottom, just kind of flat on top. And then you can set it down. That's all you gotta do. So now with that, we will actually jump the rest of the way to where I'm putting them into the pan. Also, for anyone wondering, it ended up making 24. That was after I tripled the original recipe. So the first one's made 8, so we're gonna have 24. Once that part's done, oven set to 450, you're gonna put them in the oven for 12 to 15 minutes. It's gonna depend on your altitude. I don't really know what to tell you there, but just until they're looking kind of goldeny brown. Don't go longer than 15 minutes if you're not sure. And then the biscuits are done.
And that's as much as I recorded, so like and subscribe, and I'll post another video back on probably Roblox tomorrow. Adios.